Welcome everyone, thanks for joining us. I'm Deborah Harris, I'm Regional Chair of the Bristol Committee, and I'd like to welcome you all to today's webinar.
In terms of the context for the need for clarity, I thought that was something worth focusing on initially for us. I mean, in a way, you shouldn't have to explain the need for clarity because, of course, clarity should be paramount in most things that we do. And if it isn't, maybe we haven't succeeded. To look at now is the idea of how we find out what our clients want. So if you've got something you want to know about a client, I mean, how do you find that out? Well, you could ask them, and that's not as obvious a point as perhaps it seems. You know, I've worked with firms who have had incredibly heated arguments internally about what their clients want and spend an awful lot of time on it without having asked a client a single question. So the first step is to accept that if there's anything you want to know about your client, you can go ahead and ask them and they won't be offended by it. And they won't not like it. I've had partners in firms say to me, oh no, our clients won't like you asking them this, without any evidence of that whatsoever. I think it probably suits their individual agendas and suits their own purpose, but there's nothing that you can't ask a client. And in fact, as we've seen from previous, a few slides ago, where a client actually saw the figure that the firm was aiming to win from them in terms of business, they actually quite like that as well.
What would you say is the biggest single barrier to successful key client engagement?
That's an interesting question, because I think the answer to that has probably changed, maybe even changed over the last 12 months. A year ago, I would have said it would be getting the engagement of internal people and also getting the engagement of clients. And I think that certainly there are fewer issues around getting the engagement of clients now than there ever was. And there are slightly fewer issues around getting the engagement of people internally, because apart from the usual challenges of people needing to do their day job and saying, well, I haven't got time for this, and then you have to convince them. But I think the single biggest challenge is resource and getting the right people in the right places with the right objectives, because I know it's hard anyway to recruit, and people are trying to recruit quality people and it's hard to find them. But if you pair that with an environment where clients are taking how they're managed more seriously and want to be involved in it and are more demanding, those two things are creating a frightfully imperfect storm. And so I would say that that's the biggest single barrier, Deb, to success.
Yeah, I can see that, definitely. Another question is, how can we ensure that we maintain the momentum once we've started a formal client engagement program or process, would you say? Well,
that's one that there's the answer to. No one ever likes the answer to this, and the answer to that is that it's that relentless execution point that I made, I think, on the last slide or the penultimate slide. You just have to keep doing it. But actually, if you, and I know we had quite a fast run through of all the various bits of things that I would recommend, and it's worth considering everybody who's involved in this webinar just considering, oh, how would I ever do that? But I think the thing is, put the plan together, get your plan together and get your communications together and get your objectives together. And then actually, once you've created your model,